You think decluttering is just about throwing things away. No, it's about facing your past, your memories, and the undeniable truth that time is moving forward, whether you like it or not. Every item in your home isn't just clutter. It's a piece of your life, a reflection of who you once were. People will tell you, just get rid of what you don't need. Donate it, toss it, move on. But the truth, decluttering later in life isn't just a physical task. It's an emotional battle. You're not just deciding what stays and what goes. You're confronting what has changed, what's no longer part of your life, and maybe even who you are now versus who you used to be. But here's the thing. Holding onto everything won't stop time. It only makes the weight heavier. And if this message resonates with you, share your story below or simply type number 9. Because sometimes, one small action can help someone find exactly what they need. So, why is decluttering so difficult as we age? Let's talk about 5 harsh truths no one ever tells you. Number 1. Every item holds memories and identity. Look around your home. What do you see? A chair? A stack of books? A piece of clothing tucked away in the closet? To someone else, it's just stuff. But to you, it's a lifetime of memories. That chair, that's where you used to sit every morning, sipping coffee, watching the world wake up. Those books, they're not just paper and ink. They're reminders of the person you were when you first read them, the knowledge you once sought, and that old dress or suit you haven't worn in years. That might be from the day you got that big promotion, the wedding you attended, or the time you felt like the best version of yourself. That's the thing about decluttering. It's not just about deciding what to keep and what to toss. It's about facing the reality that certain chapters of your life are closing. And that's hard, because when you let go of an item, you're not just getting rid of an object. In some ways, you're acknowledging that a part of your life is over. And that can be terrifying. Think about it. If you spent decades as a professional, getting rid of old work materials can feel like saying goodbye to the version of yourself that thrived in that career. If you were an artist, parting with old canvases or supplies might feel like admitting that your most creative days are behind you. Even something as simple as letting go of a set of dishes can stir up emotions, because those aren't just plates. They're tied to memories of family dinners, laughter around the table, a home that once felt full of life. And this is why decluttering is so emotionally exhausting. It's not just about making decisions. It's about confronting time itself. It's about recognizing that life keeps moving, that things change, that some things inevitably fade. And that's not easy. But here's the part most people don't talk about. Holding onto everything doesn't stop time. It doesn't freeze those memories in place. It just adds to the weight you carry, both physically and emotionally. Because the truth is, you are not your old books, your worn-out clothes, or the souvenirs from trips taken decades ago. Those things don't define you. You are the person who lived those moments, and nothing, no amount of decluttering, can take that away. Letting go doesn't mean losing yourself. It means making space. Space to breathe. Space to focus on the life you have now. Space for the next chapter that's waiting for you. So, if you're struggling to part with something, ask yourself, am I holding on to this because I truly need it? Or am I afraid of what it means to let it go? Because at the end of the day, your memories live inside you, not in the things around you. And the less weight you carry, the lighter you'll feel moving forward. Now, that was just the first truth. And trust me, it doesn't get any easier. Because next, we're talking about something even tougher. The guilt that comes with letting go. Let's get into it. Number 2. Decluttering is a mental battle. Not just throwing things away. If decluttering was just about tossing out things you don't need, it would be easy. But it's not. It's a psychological war. Because every time you pick up an item, you're not just deciding whether to keep it or not. You're confronting emotions, memories, and sometimes guilt. That old birthday card from a friend who's no longer here? You know you don't need it, but throwing it away feels like erasing them from your life. That expensive jacket you never wore? Every time you see it, you feel guilty for spending the money. That set of fancy dishes? You haven't used them in years, but they remind you of family dinners that don't happen anymore. This is why decluttering is so emotionally exhausting, because it forces you to face things you've been avoiding. It makes you question your decisions, your past, and even your future. And the hardest part? The guilt. You might feel guilty for letting go of gifts, as if you're betraying the person who gave them to you. You might feel guilty for discarding things that still have value, even if they no longer serve you. You might feel guilty for even thinking about getting rid of something that belonged to a loved one who passed away. But here's the truth. Keeping something out of guilt doesn't add value to it. That expensive coat, sitting in your closet and used, keeping it won't change the fact that it wasn't the right purchase. That stack of old letters, holding onto them won't bring the past back. You don't honor a person by keeping their things. You honor them by remembering them. And memories don't live in objects. They live in you. Then there's the fear. What if I need this someday? What if I regret getting rid of it? What if I'm making the wrong decision? That fear, it's paralyzing. It's what keeps people stuck in clutter for years, afraid to move forward. But here's the reality. Most of the things we keep just in case end up sitting untouched for decades. And even if you did need something again, there are always ways to replace or adapt. So how do you overcome this battle? First, remind yourself, you are not throwing away memories. You are letting go of unnecessary weight. Second, ask yourself, does this item serve a purpose in my life today? Not in the past, not in some imaginary future, but right now. And finally, understand this. Your home should be a place of peace, not a museum of guilt and fear. Decluttering isn't just about making space in your home. It's about making space in your mind, your heart, and your future. And once you break free from the emotional weight of your belongings, something else happens. You start to realize that not everything you saved for your children and grandchildren will be wanted. And that's a truth many people aren't ready to face. But we need to talk about it. Let's get into it. Number 3. What you want to pass down might not be wanted for years, maybe even decades. You've saved things, believing they would one day mean something to your children or grandchildren. A set of fine china, family heirlooms, antique furniture, photo albums carefully arranged over the years. You held on to these things because you thought, one day, they'll appreciate this. One day, they'll want to keep a piece of our history. But then reality hits. You offer them your treasured items, and instead of gratitude, you're met with hesitation. Or worse, outright refusal. Oh, thanks, but I don't really have space for that. I don't think I'd ever use it. Maybe someone else in the family wants it. And suddenly, something that meant so much to you feels like nothing to them. It hurts, because to you, these things aren't just objects. They're memories. They represent years of hard work, milestones, traditions, and family history. But here's the hard truth. The younger generation doesn't always share the same attachment to physical things. Today, people move more. They live in smaller spaces. They embrace minimalism, valuing experiences over objects. That heavy oak dining table that was once the center of family gatherings. They see it as an inconvenience, not a treasure. The beautiful set of china, it's too fragile for everyday use. Even photo albums, carefully curated over the years, don't hold the same significance in a digital world where memories are stored on phones and in the cloud. And it's not that they don't care about family history. They just don't connect with it the same way you do. So, what do? First, don't take it personally. Their rejection of these items isn't a rejection of you or your memories. It's just a reflection of how times have changed. Second, have the conversation now. Instead of assuming they'll want your things later, ask them what they actually value. You might be surprised sometimes. It's not the big items, but the small sentimental ones. A handwritten letter, a family recipe, a simple object tied to a personal story. Third, don't let these things sit in boxes forever. If your family doesn't want them, someone else might. There are collectors, history buffs, and even strangers who would genuinely appreciate what you no longer need. It's better to let go while you can choose where these items go, rather than leaving them as a burden for others to deal with later. Because here's what really matters. The most valuable inheritance isn't the things you leave behind. It's the memories, the love, and the wisdom you've shared. And once you make peace with that, you can finally start focusing on what truly matters. Living freely, without the weight of unnecessary possessions. But that brings us to the next truth, one that many don't realize until it's too late. The more you own, the harder life becomes. Let's talk about it. Number 4. The more you own, the harder life gets at some point in life. Owning things feels like security. You collect, you save, you hold on to things just in case. It feels comforting to have everything you might need within reach. Until one day, it doesn't. One day, the things that once made life easier start making life harder. That extra furniture, it clutters your space, making it harder to move around. That overflowing closet, it turns getting dressed into a frustrating chore. That garage packed with boxes, it's no longer storage. It's a burden you avoid dealing with. And suddenly you realize you're not living in a home anymore. You're living in an obstacle course. See, clutter doesn't just take up space in your house. It takes up space in your mind. Every drawer filled with old papers, every shelf stacked with forgotten trinkets, every pile of stuff that you keep meaning to go through, it all sits there, quietly demanding your attention. Even if you don't think about it all the time, your brain knows it's there. And over time, that mental weight builds up. It creates stress, exhaustion, and even a sense of being trapped. Then there's the physical burden. As we age, bending down to reach lower shelves, climbing up to grab something from storage, or simply moving around furniture that no longer fits the space, it all becomes harder. What once felt like sentimental treasures now become hazards. Piles of books, tripping risks, stacks of old newspapers, dust and allergies waiting to happen, cluttered hallways, a daily struggle instead of a clear path. And when movement becomes difficult, independence starts to fade. But here's the real truth. The weight of clutter isn't just physical or mental. It's emotional too. Because with every item, there's a decision. Should I keep it? Should I let it go? What if I need it someday? This leads to decision fatigue. That overwhelming feeling of having too many choices and not knowing where to start. And that kind of exhaustion, it stops people from making any decision at all. That's why so many homes become filled with years, decades of unneeded things. But what if I told you security doesn't come from holding onto everything? What if real security comes from the ability to move freely, to live without unnecessary burdens, to focus on what truly matters? Because here's the truth. The less you own, the more freedom you gain. Freedom to move around your home with ease. Freedom from the stress of managing too much stuff. Freedom to focus on what truly brings you joy. Whether it's spending time with loved ones, picking up an old hobby, or simply enjoying a peaceful, uncluttered space. Decluttering isn't about loss. It's about making room for a life that's easier, lighter, and more fulfilling. But here's the catch. It doesn't happen all at once. Because the final truth is this. Decluttering is never a one-time event. It's an ongoing process. And that's exactly what we need to talk about next. Number 5. Decluttering is not a one-time task. It's an ongoing process. A lot of people think decluttering is something you do once. You spend a weekend sorting through everything, tossing out what you don't need, and that's it. But that's not how it works. Decluttering isn't a one-time event. It's a process, a constant, ongoing process. Because no matter how much you clear out, life keeps moving. Things keep coming in. Gifts from family, impulse purchases, things you thought you'd need. Clutter has a way of sneaking back in. That's why so many people feel stuck in an endless cycle. They declutter once, feel relieved for a while, and then months or years later, it all piles up again. And the reason? It's not just about the stuff itself. It's about how we interact with it. Even if you spend weeks clearing out your home, if you don't change the way you bring things in, you'll be right back where you started. That's the hard truth. You can't just get rid of things once and expect your home to stay clutter-free. You have to shift your mindset. Every time something new enters your space, ask yourself, do I really need this? Or am I just adding to the pile again? And it's not just about what you buy. Sometimes the hardest part is dealing with things other people give you. Family members mean well, but before you know it, your home is filled with things you never actually wanted. And then comes the guilt. I can't throw this away. It was a gift. I should keep this, just in case. Sound familiar? But here's the thing. Keeping something out of guilt doesn't make it more valuable. It just makes it part of the clutter. And decluttering isn't about throwing everything away. It's about making space for the life you actually want. That's why it has to be an ongoing process. You have to keep checking in with yourself. Keep deciding what serves you and what doesn't. And most importantly, you have to let go of the idea that one day you'll be done. Because there is no perfect finish line. Life keeps changing, and you'll always have to decide what stays and what goes. So how do you apply this to your life? How do you declutter without feeling overwhelmed, stuck, or guilty? The key is shifting your mindset. First, stop thinking of decluttering as a one-time project. It's not something you do once and never worry about again. It's a way of living. Every time something enters your home, ask yourself, do I actually need this? Or is it just another thing that will weigh me down later? Because once you become intentional about what you keep, managing it all becomes much easier. Next, let go of guilt. Keeping things out of obligation doesn't make them more valuable. Whether it's an old gift, an expensive mistake, or something sentimental, remember, your memories live in you, not in objects. Holding on to everything won't bring the past back, but it will make your life heavier. And finally, start small. You don't have to clear out your entire house overnight. Pick one drawer, one closet, one corner. Make slow but steady progress. Because at the end of the day, decluttering isn't about having an empty house. It's about creating a home that supports the life you actually want. Because in the end, decluttering isn't really about stuff. It's about making space for what truly matters. And if this message speaks to you, share your thoughts below or simply type number 9. Because sometimes, one small action can help someone find exactly what they need. Let's move on to another story. This article explores 9 habits that many seniors fall into, and among them, number 3 and number 8 stand out as some of the hardest to break. These habits often go unnoticed, but they can significantly impact well-being and relationships. The challenge is that most people don't even realize they've developed these patterns, let alone how to change them. Have you ever noticed how life changes in ways we never fully expected as we grow older? Some changes bring wisdom, freedom, and the ability to focus on what truly matters. But others? They can be unsettling, uncomfortable, and sometimes downright unpleasant. Here's the thing. These habits don't appear overnight. They creep in slowly, unnoticed, and before we realize it, they begin to shape our daily lives, the way people see us, and even the way we see ourselves. The truth is, no one warns us about the unpleasant side of aging. Friends and family might notice these behaviors, but hesitate to mention them. Society either romanticizes old age or ignores it altogether. But today, we're facing these habits head-on. If you or someone you love is entering their senior years, this video is for you. By the end, you'll understand 9 common, but unpleasant habits that many seniors develop. Habits that can push people away, harm health, or lead to loneliness. More importantly, we'll discuss how to avoid or fix them so that your golden years are truly golden. Because aging should be a time of wisdom, fulfillment, and joy, not frustration, isolation, or regret. So, let's get started. If any of these habits sound familiar, you're not alone. And if you find value in this discussion, share your thoughts in the comments or simply type number 9. Because sometimes one small action can help someone find exactly what they need. Asterisk number 1. Talking about the past too much as we age, the past often becomes more vivid than the present. Memories of childhood, past achievements, and old friendships feel stronger than ever, making us want to relive them through conversation. While it's natural to share our experiences, constantly reminiscing can have unintended consequences. It can push people away, especially younger family members who might not feel connected to those stories. It's important to remember that while our past is valuable, so is the present. If every conversation revolves around what once was, it can leave little room for what is happening now. Younger generations want to feel seen and heard just as much as we do. What to do instead? Instead of repeating the same stories, try engaging others in conversation about their lives too. Ask them about their goals, their dreams, and what's happening in their world. This keeps relationships balanced and enjoyable for everyone. Sharing is important, but so is listening. Make conversations a two-way street. and you'll find yourself building deeper connections. Number 2. Becoming too stubborn and resistant to change. Let's be honest. Change can be hard, especially when it feels unnecessary. Many seniors resist adapting to new technologies, new ways of thinking, or even small lifestyle changes. While it might feel like you're holding on to tradition, the truth is, resisting change too much can lead to isolation. The world moves forward whether we like it or not, and if we don't at least try to keep up, we risk getting left behind. There's nothing wrong with cherishing the old ways, but refusing to adapt can create barriers between you and the world around you. It can make simple things, like keeping in touch with loved ones, unnecessarily difficult. What to do instead? Embrace small changes. Learn to use basic technology, stay open to new ideas, and be willing to try new things. Adaptation isn't about abandoning tradition. It's about staying connected to the world around you. The more open you are to learning, the more engaged and independent you will remain. Change can be intimidating, but often, it leads to unexpected joys. Number 3. Neglecting personal hygiene as people age. Simple tasks like showering, brushing teeth, or changing clothes regularly can become tiring. Some seniors start neglecting personal hygiene due to physical limitations, forgetfulness, or even depression. Unfortunately, poor hygiene can lead to health issues, bad odors, and social discomfort, causing people to distance themselves. The way we present ourselves impacts not only how others see us, but also how we feel about ourselves. Neglecting personal hygiene can subtly erode confidence and self-esteem. What to do instead? If daily hygiene feels overwhelming, simplify the process. Set reminders, use shower chairs or assistive tools, and ask for help if needed. Staying clean isn't just about appearance. It's about health, confidence, and self-respect. A well-groomed appearance can improve how you feel about yourself and how others perceive you. Comment number 9 if you're still able to take care of your daily hygiene on your own. Number 4. Complaining too much. Aging comes with its fair share of challenges, health issues, financial concerns, family problems. There's a lot to be frustrated about. But when complaining becomes constant, it can drain those around you. No one enjoys being around someone who always focuses on the negative. Over time, even close family members might start avoiding visits. Negativity has a way of consuming us. The more we focus on what's wrong, the less we see what's right. And unfortunately, that negativity can be contagious. What to do instead? It's okay to express frustration, but balance it with gratitude. Make a conscious effort to focus on what's good in life, even if it's something small. A positive mindset attracts people, while constant negativity pushes them away. Shifting your perspective can transform your relationships and overall well-being. Look for joy in small, everyday moments. It's often there, waiting to be noticed. Number 5. Hoarding useless things. Many seniors struggle to let go of things, old clothes, outdated paperwork, household items that might be useful someday. Over time, homes become cluttered with unnecessary stuff, making living spaces overwhelming and even unsafe. Hoarding not only creates stress, but can also lead to accidents and limited mobility at home. Holding on to physical clutter often reflects emotional attachment, but too many possessions can weigh you down rather than bring you joy. What to do instead? Declutter regularly. Keep only what truly adds value to your life. Donate, recycle, or throw away items that no longer serve a purpose. A clean and organized home creates peace of mind and makes daily life easier. It's not about getting rid of memories. It's about creating a space that allows you to enjoy the present. Number 6. Ignoring health issues until they become serious. Many seniors tend to downplay health concerns, assuming minor aches, pains, or discomforts will go away on their own. They avoid doctor visits, delay treatments, and ignore warning signs until the problem becomes severe. However, neglecting small health problems can lead to serious complications, expensive treatments, and unnecessary suffering. It's not just about physical health. Mental well-being matters too. Many seniors dismiss feelings of sadness, anxiety, or loneliness as just a part of aging. But ignoring these emotions can lead to deeper issues like depression. What to do instead? Take your health seriously. Get regular checkups, listen to your body, and seek medical attention before a small problem turns into a major one. Preventative care can save your life and keep you feeling your best. If something doesn't feel right, don't wait. Address it early. Number 7. Expecting too much from family. It's natural to hope that family will always be there in old age. But expecting too much, whether it's daily visits, financial support, or constant attention, can lead to disappointment. Everyone has their own responsibilities and struggles, and overdependence can strain relationships. Sometimes, seniors unknowingly place guilt on their children for not visiting enough or not calling daily. This can create pressure, resentment, and emotional distance instead of closeness. What to do instead? Focus on independence. Build your own support system, make new friends, and find hobbies that keep you engaged. Love your family, but don't rely on them as your only source of happiness. Instead of dwelling on how often they visit, cherish the time you do spend together. Quality matters more than quantity. Number 8. Becoming too isolated. One of the most harmful things seniors do is withdraw from social life. It starts gradually, turning down invitations, avoiding phone calls, staying home too much. Over time, this leads to loneliness, depression, and even cognitive decline. Studies have shown that social isolation can be as harmful to health as smoking or obesity. Some seniors may feel like they don't belong anymore, especially in a world that is changing so fast. They might think, "I don't want to be a burden," or "no one wants to hear from me." But these thoughts only reinforce isolation. What to do instead? Stay connected. Join community groups, attend social events, and call friends regularly. Even small interactions like chatting with a neighbor can make a huge difference in mental and emotional well-being. If transportation is an issue, look for local programs that offer rides for seniors. There are always ways to stay engaged. You just have to take the first step. Number 9. Thinking you're too old to change. Many seniors believe that once they reach a certain age, they can no longer change their habits, lifestyle, or mindset. This belief keeps them stuck in routines that may no longer serve them. They think, "I've been this way my whole life, why change now?" But the truth is, growth never stops. The human brain is capable of learning and adapting at any age. Whether it's trying a new hobby, improving eating habits, or changing a mindset, there is always room for improvement. What to do instead? Remember that growth doesn't stop at any age. Stay curious, challenge yourself, and embrace new experiences. Whether it's learning a new skill, adopting a healthier lifestyle, or shifting your perspective, it's never too late to change and improve your quality of life. Even small changes can lead to a happier, more fulfilling life. Now that we've explored these 9 habits, it's time to reflect. Are any of these present in your life? More importantly, what small steps can you take today to improve your golden years? Aging is not about how many years you have left. It's about how you choose to live them. Every small change you make today can shape a happier, more fulfilling tomorrow. So take a moment to reflect. What habits do you see in yourself? And more importantly, what steps can you take to embrace a better version of your golden years? If this message resonated with you, share your thoughts in the comments, or simply type number 9. Because sometimes, one small action can help someone find exactly what they need. The next part of this video is now available on my channel.